Hey developers, and in this video we'll see a hash table problem which is named toSum, and this is also a problem from lead code, and this was asked from like in a Google coding interview a couple of times. So and also some of the big tech companies. You can check out the lead code for more details. And we are using a hash table for solving this problem. So let me read the problem statement which we are given an array of integers called nums and an integer target. So we have to return the indices of two numbers such that they add up to a target, so which is given. So we can assume that exactly one solution will be there for each input, and you may not use the same element twice. Okay, we have to use different elements, which will be the output, and you can return the answer in any order. What this means is if the output is this 0 1, we can produce it in any order like 1 0 or 0 1, but it must be two numbers because its name itself says it's toSum. So basically this problem is something, these are the indexes and these are the values. If the indexes like the zeroth index is 2 and the first index is 7, if we add these together we get a target. So 2 plus 7 will be a 9. So this is what a problem is. We have to find that two indexes in that list. Okay, it will be there, and there must be a one solution in each, like in each input. Okay, it's a constraint. And then we can use hash table. Here we are using two steps for using that, like for solving this problem. Let me tag that two steps in comments. So this is the first step we are using, maintaining a mapping like using key value pair. Basically the hash table represents that we are having a collection of key value pairs. Basically in Python, dictionary is the hash table, like a representation of hash table, and we are using that keys and values to map number and index, like number inside the list, and we are mapping that index like a 2, it will be equal to 0, and 7 it will be equal to 1. Like likewise we are mapping the number that we are already seen. And the second step goes like we are checking a target, like a target minus num is already been found. Like already been found is will be in the mapping of hash table, like inside the hash table. Like target minus num will be let's take this example. The target is 9, and we may assume like we are here, and target minus the current num is 2, like 9 minus 7 will be 2. So 2 is already seen, right here 2 is already seen, so we are producing these two numbers as output. So we found, so eventually we found it by these two steps. So we can apply these two steps to solve this problem, and let's start. So first step, we are having a hash table like this, num and index. So it represents the key is num and value is index. We are just having an empty hash table, like it's a dictionary, and we are using a for loop here and enumerating the list. So if you haven't seen this function enumerate, it just gives two values like a index and the value like a object in that list. So at the same time we can use I also and number. So this is what the enumerate function does in Python. So we can now implement the second step, which is checking the target, like checking the target minus num in num dash index. So if it's in index, we can return the values. So let's take this example. As I already said, we are in a, let's say we are in the second loop. At the first loop we may append the 2 inside the num index dictionary, and we are in the second loop, so we can assume like it's 7. So target is 9. 9 minus 7 will be in num index, which is 2. So we are just returning the values, which will be like this in a list format. So you can see the output there, it's in the list format. So we are following that, like num index of target minus num, which is the second number, like target minus num, and the second number is I, because it's the current index. So we may found that these two numbers are like, first we are seeing the 7 is the number that we are finding, if the condition satisfies. And if it's in the, like if it's in the num index, we can just produce that index 2 by accessing into the dictionary like this, target minus num, which is 2 in this example, and I is the 1, which is the index of 7. So we can produce 0 and 1 in this way. And we are having, if that condition not satisfies, we just append to the dictionary the values, like num index of num will be equal to the index like I. So we are using here the num and the I to append to the dictionary with the key and value pairs, like a key as a number and index as the value. So we can append like this if the condition not satisfies. If the condition satisfied at least one time, we can just return the values like this. So it's the index of that current value, and this is the index that we are already seen in that num list, like a num index dictionary. So we can just return empty list if there is no any answer. So if you are crossing this loop without any returning statement, then it must be an empty list. There is no any answer, but it's not the case. But we are just giving like a basic, like a base value. So we can just run the code to check if it's working. Yeah, it's working perfectly. The code is accepted, the sample test cases, and we are checking the other test cases too by submitting it. Yeah, it accepted all the test cases. So we are at the end of the video. If you have any suggestions or queries about this video, you can let me know in comments. And if you are new to this channel, this is Praveen making tech and coding stuff in this channel. So remember to subscribe and click that bell icon next to the subscribe button so you'll never miss any of my updates. So thank you. Thanks for watching. And the code will be in my GitHub page, and the link for that will be in my description. Check it out. Thank you.